BT's Business Report is sponsored by Dynamic Funds.
Big news coming from the U.S. We're over to Mike Eppel with a look at business, and it's going to be huge, Mike. So business now reopening around those borders. That's because the land border with the U.S. and Canada also set to reopen.
Yeah, how busy is it going to be at those land border crossings come November when the Canadian snowbirds want to head south for the winter months, Tammy? They still haven't said what specific day in November. Is it November 1st, or do we have to wait further into the month for the reopening of the land border crossings? But you're right, it's going to be huge business for the states that have been pushing to have the border reopened to Canadian travelers and tourists. Any of the border states, New York among them, saying, look, we've been missing out on millions of dollars of cross-border business. And right now you've got the Canadian dollar just above 80 cents US, so it's not all that bad to go across the United States when we're allowed to do so. The big question, of course, will be, again, when's it reopening? How much of a bottleneck is there going to be? Because you have to figure that there are going to be, a lot of people who haven't seen relatives, let's face it, in over a year and a half. They want to travel to the United States. And then you've got the snowbird contingent as well. So it's going to be interesting to see when this all reopens, and then where specifically people actually travel to in the U.S. Over the course of the winter months.
Yeah, and I think that bottleneck you mentioned, it's going to be a months-long thing. Like, there are people who are going to not just be shopping, but like you said, visiting loved ones, right?
Yeah, and look, you saw it at the airports too, right? The long lines, because you have to check for vaccine passports and what have you. So yes, there will be some hiccups along the way, likely, but pack your patience along with your luggage.
There you go. Speaking of luggage and travel, Southwest Airlines, they're defying a new rule by the Texas governor.
Yeah, Greg Abbott is saying no to vaccine mandates. Southwest and American Airlines are both based in Texas, and they say, no, we're putting in vaccine mandates because we're going to follow the federal rules. So you've got this state-by-state squabble right now related to the rules of vaccine policy, the federal oversight, and the airlines are saying, yeah, you know what, we've dealt enough with this. We need one specific policy across the board. And Southwest over the past weekend had all sorts of flight delays. Some say that was because some of the employees pushed back on vaccine policies. The company says that's not the case. It was weather and assorted other things. So again, the travel industry has various issues to deal with, certainly, but a lot of people are certainly traveling once again.
Right. And as people start heading back to restaurants, there's a mass exodus when it comes to restaurant staffing.
It's remarkable. The Canadian Centre for Policy Alternatives out with a study about how many people have left the Canadian restaurant and food services industry over the past year and a half. 180,000 have gone, and they're not coming back. They found other things to do, whether it's other white-collar jobs or what have you. This has been, and you can see it. Every restaurant you go by says help wanted, and they just do not have the staffing. And some think this is going to lead to a structural change for the industry. You might not have service, throughout the entire day. You'll open for lunch, maybe shut down for a couple of hours, reopen at dinner time. You won't need as many staff, maybe fewer items on the menu, things like that. It's no different in the States. In the month of August, the U.S. lost 4.3 million workers who quit their jobs, and over 850,000 of those were specific to the restaurant industry.
All right, Apple. So they released their new phone, but good luck getting your hands on it.
Well, they're saying there's going to be a little bit of a supply crunch here, 10 million fewer iPhone 13s because of the computer chip issue. Apple's dealing with it too. So, it's still, they're still going to sell a lot of phones. Let's face it, and you might have to wait a little bit. And this is part of the issue, just-in-time delivery. And we've seen the bottlenecks worldwide. The Port of Los Angeles, I thought this was interesting. The Port of Los Angeles will now work 24/7. It actually shut down overnight. I guess that kind of makes sense, but they should have lights to function, you would think. But the Biden administration just yesterday said, Port of Los Angeles, go 24/7 and get more goods into the country. And by the way, the U.S. trade deficit with China is now at an all-time record high. So the U.S. still has to import many more goods than they're shipping out. And again, this is all about the supply chain and where goods are coming from and companies and consumers having to deal with it.
And quickly, last thing, winter tires. That's another thing that might be on shortage. Whoops.
This was, I was literally just yesterday thinking, I got to book my seasonal changeover for the winter tires, and I need a new set for one of the vehicles. And I see this report this morning in the Toronto Star about winter tires maybe in short supply. So, get
Grab
going
what you
on that.
can. Yeah.
That's right. I also wanted to book my flu shot yesterday, and I can't get that yet either.
We'll be talking about that at 7:05, okay?
What?
So
yeah,
listen in. We'll let you know.
Remember last year it was the same thing. Everybody was scrambling to get a flu shot.
Yeah. Nope. 7:05. I'll give you all the latest on when you can get your flu shot. All right, Mike?
Excellent.
Okay. Thanks so much.
Thanks.
Well, Toronto public health officials, they have provided an update on the closure of Silverthorne Collegiate due to a COVID-19 outbreak. Coming up, we'll tell you just how long the high school may be closed. Plus, we get reaction from Ontario's education minister on the outbreak.